If you are stuck between 120 and 140 BPM with your feet, you've probably felt this. You're playing along to the click, you get exhausted, and instead of slowing down, your feet suddenly speed up and twitch out of control. My name is Marthyn. I'm the founder of Marthyn's Drum Camp, where we focus on mastering double bass drum. In this video today, I'm going to look at a student clip together with you. So big thank you goes out to my student Ivan for letting me show his progress right here. The goal of this series is simple: to help drummers who struggle with double bass drumming by showing what's working, what's not, and how to fix this. So let's break this down step by step, starting with Ivan's clip. So he's trying to play along to the click, and you can see what happens. At first it looks solid, but then suddenly his feet start to speed up, he loses control, and he can't lock in with the click anymore. Actually, that's a very common frustration for drummers stuck in the 120 to 140 BPM range. It feels like your body betrays you actually. Instead of slowing down, your feet just take off on their own. So why does this happen? Actually, when you play double bass at these tempos, most drummers naturally use a combination of upper and lower leg. The upper leg, especially the hip flexors, lifts the weight off the floor, while the lower leg, the calf muscle, push the front of the foot down. So basically you have a combination of these two, upper and lower leg. That's basically the old school heel up technique. The problem is that once your hip flexor starts to fatigue this muscle group up here, your body looks for the easiest way out. So it naturally shifts the workload almost completely to your lower leg, like in this example. Not using my upper leg, it's just my calves. At first, this feels easier, but here's the catch. At 120 to 130 BPM, it's nearly impossible to play with ease on your pedals by just only using your lower leg. That's why the beater starts to twitch and speed up uncontrollably. Think of it like trying to drive a car uphill in the wrong gear. The engine revs like crazy, but you're not actually in control. Your body does the same thing. It shifts into the wrong gear, and the more you practice this way, the more your hip flexor actually gets neglected. So it weakens actually. So the very muscle group you need to control at this tempo never gets trained at all. So now let's look at how to solve this. Step one is to shift the workload back to your upper leg and train the hip flexor directly. And the easiest way to do this is off the pedals, on the floor. That way you can isolate the hip flexor without your lower leg taking over. Make sure that you stick to this 90-degree angle between your lower leg and your foot while practicing. So here's a clip of Ivan practicing with the ankle weights on the floor. Alright, now you can already see the difference. His motion is controlled and the hip flexor is doing all of the work. Notice how he's sticking to this 90-degree angle between his lower leg and his foot with right and left. Got the orange ankle weights right here, and all the workload is right here on his hip flexor to lift his full leg off the ground. So let's see that again. Solid. Well done. And once you've built some strength on the floor practicing like this, the next step is to bring it to the pedals. The focus here still stays the same. You want the full workload on your hip flexors. One simple trick that's working really well for my students is to focus on dropping your heel onto the footboard or the heel plate. That simple cue keeps the workload where it belongs, on your upper leg. If you would actively start to involve your lower leg, it would look something like this. Now that's a mix of upper and lower leg. And if I let my heel drop back down onto the foot plate, it looks like this. Small shift, but it makes all the difference. And now let's take a look at Ivan, who's applying these principles onto the pedals. It's a really simple exercise, just eighth note triplet subdivision as the tempo increases. As you can see, it's just activating his upper leg, lower leg is relaxed, and his heels are always touching the footboard, or in this case with the DW pedals, the heel plate. You can see this right here. It's dropping onto the heel plate all the time. So really solid. Now let's see what happens when we increase the tempo further. Still same technique. Upper leg doing all of the work, heel is dropping down onto the heel plate. Well done. Let's increase the tempo further. Okay. Still same technique, really solid. Yeah, well done. And let's increase the tempo even further. Still really solid. Well done, Eivind. Okay, and the next step actually is applying the same technique also with a 60-note subdivision. This is where the control you've built in the hip flexor really shows. Okay, again, solid, same technique. Well done. So, with this progression from practicing on the floor with ankle weights, then controlled focused on the pedal, starting slow at first, then working on different subdivisions, you train your body to use the hip flexor the way it's meant to work. So here's the big takeaway. If your feet start to twitch out of control between 120 and 140 BPM, it means your body is relying too much on your lower leg. To fix it, start training your hip flexors directly. Practice first on the floor, shift the workload to your upper leg, and use ankle weights. They are one of the most effective tools for this. Then transfer this motion to the pedals, focus on the heel drop. You should always touch the heel plate or the back end of the footboard and build control step by step. If you want to learn more about Marthyn's drum camp, you'll find the link below this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.